guys, welcome back to the channel Prado. Now the audio right now is probably really, like echoing, because there's no rug or anything in here and it's just all these walls and it's just bouncing everywhere, hence why this video will be filmed outside, except for the intro. So today's video I want to do is very interesting. I want to do Prado 90 series compared to a Land Cruiser 76.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to compare these two was because they're similar body and similar shape. Now, obviously there's also a Land Cruiser Prado 70 series, which is a bit of a weird model. We don't really get it in Australia, you have to import it from Japan. But that is solid front axle, and it's got the body, well at least the rear end body of a 76, which is a bit of a, it's very interesting how that car, we didn't get it for some reason, but that motor's not the V8 like the 79 either. So I've got some stats on here and we're just going to run through some things like price, engine, etc. We're just going to, you can roughly see where we're going with it and figure out if you should get a Prado 90 series or a 76. Now you would agree that the price range of these two cars is really far apart, so you're probably asking yourself, why are you comparing them? Like like one's, you know, in the 70k realm and one's, you know, what, 10k realm. So the reason is because they're so similar, and in terms of practicality, what you're getting out of the car, they're the exact same, except one is like 4 times the amount of money, which hence you're sort of getting ripped off in that sense. But if you want to do towing and full driving and certain other things, maybe it is better to get the more expensive 76. Okay guys, so now we're going to look at some features about them that are similar, considering that the 76, we're going to compare the 2020 model of the 76 to a Prado 90 series from 1996. So you can see how already it's not really a fair matchup. Now obviously you got to remember that the 76, considering how much you're paying for it, like, you know, the speakers are pretty average, you know, it's got slow steering, large turning circle, it's a very, you know, rugged car. It's not luxury, it's not like a Land Cruiser or Hilux or anything. Not the Hiluxes are luxury, but you're paying a lot of money for something that's very bare minimum, okay, as we should all know. And now the Prado 90 series, now obviously you've got like for mine, for example, mine's a DXL, and obviously Prado's more of the family line. So obviously, you know, mine's got you know, turning circle's good, drives a lot better on the road, handles a lot better on the road. In its time it was very luxury, and the fact that we can even compare it to a brand new 76 coming out of the factory today is crazy. It shouldn't really be like that. Now the elephant in the room is the engine. So obviously you got a 4.5 litre, you know, D4D under that badge, 8-cylinder diesel motor, manual only, okay. And then the Prado, obviously you've got the engine, the 1KZ TE, which is the 3 litre turbo diesel. Now that engine was put in the cars, the 120 series Land Cruiser Prado, 90 series, and the Mark 6 Hilux. Now that was a good motor, they're very strong, they seem to be going around everywhere and still turning along, which is good. Now the Prado motor, at least of this version, had 96 kilowatts, okay, and 343 newton meters of torque at 2000 RPM. Now we compare that to a 76, right? 76 has 430 newton meters of torque and 151 kilowatts, okay? So obviously the specs on the new car are higher, it's a bigger motor, but classic Toyota completely have undertuned it, and the engine's working like 1/10 of its capability its whole lifespan, hence why the engine lasts so long, the reliability and the good brand name behind them, and hence why people tune them and get 700 newton meters of, you know, power out of them, because they put a few mods on, you know, ECU, exhaust and stuff, but they're working at a fraction of what they're capable of. Now to put that in perspective, I'm pretty sure like a Holden Colorado has like 450 newton meters of torque, and that's a 2.8 litre diesel. So you can imagine that motor's working more high end of its capacity, whereas this motor is almost double the size and it's got less figures than that Colorado. So that, like, put that together, it's crazy. Granted though, longevity of the Land Cruiser will be a lot longer than the Holden Colorado, you know, which they don't really make anymore. So obviously that's just classic Toyota. Now the petrol motor in the Prado 90 series, the one I have, 5EZ FE, that's got 136 kilowatts. Okay, now just so you understand, that's almost as much as the V8 4.5 litre diesel. Now obviously mine's quicker off the line than a 76. It's just mental really, but obviously that's petrol, so it burns differently. But I just think it's crazy that you spend all this money, like 70k plus, and you're getting stuff that cars from 30 years back already had. Okay, they're very desirable, and obviously they weren't worth this much a few years back. Only ever since COVID and stuff, prices got crazy. They're desirable when everyone wants one, and they're worth way more. Like, they're not worth as much as they're selling them for. It's ridiculous. Now this is a GXL 2022 model I'm reviewing as well, of the 76. Now obviously the main difference I see, at least in terms of the layout, is that the 76 has the two little barn doors, like a 3/4 and like a quarter sort of door, and you gotta open one then the other, whereas the Prado's just got the one big door which just comes out the whole way, which is fine. Now I've had my car for almost 4 years with just a big door, and it's been great, and it's fine. You can put bar tables on them. There's a lot of potential modding you can do on them because they're such a big door. The little doors though, you see them in the Troopies, it's the similar layout as a Troopy really. You got a 3/4 door, you can have a table on there and another table, another one. So I think they're both fine, and I think they're not one's better than the other sort of thing. The double door, it takes up less space. If you're against the wall, you can open them up because they're smaller, but in terms of actual time, my door, you just open it, it's open. This one, you have to open one, open another. I know I'm being dramatic, but little things like that you'll find will annoy you later on. Now, you guys can say whatever you want, but Toyota claim from factory that the 5EZ FE Prado 90 series motor will do 600,000 Ks. Now, I feel like a lot of people these days go, oh, petrol, it's rubbish, it doesn't go that long. You're wrong, pretty much. So yeah, pretty much, as we should know, petrol motors basically don't need as high maintenance as diesels, because it's hard to explain, but they can just run better with less work on them, because the fuel rate, the way it burns is different. So diesels, a lot of full drivers obviously service their car with 5,000 Ks. Now that's quite often, and that's that just could be because they're thrashing them off road. They want to get the most life out of them, and that's great. That's awesome. But then you hear some petrol owners, they service them every 20,000 Ks, and they're still fine. So obviously it just depends what you do, sort of thing. Now, so we've gone over both engines, and we've gone over the price. So right now, the Prado is cheaper. It won't tow as well. It's probably not as good as off-road because it hasn't got solid front end. But handling and safety ratings a lot higher. Now, the 2020 model Land Cruiser actually has airbags in it, which is a miracle. And the Prado 90, the GXL model, which is what I have, has no airbags, right? And then the Grande, the top of the range, which had a sunroof, had an airbag in the steering wheel, and that was it. The passenger gets nothing. So weirdly, in terms of safety, the 76 wins, which is funny because on every website ever, they're saying the 76 is rubbish for safety and you're going to die. So, but in this category it wins, which is awesome. Good on it. Now, both have 5 doors. Now, the 76 is a 5-seater, as we know, but the Prado 90, my model, 1996, is an 8-seater, the same as your 200 series Land Cruiser, 100 series Land Cruiser. It's up there with the big boys. It's an 8-seater, okay? So you got your 3 rows in the back, 3 in the middle, 2 on the front, okay? Which is really impressive. Now, obviously, there's some other models of Prado 90 that have 2 on the back, so it's 7, okay, which is a bit more standard. But granted, the back middle seat isn't massive. It's just you're sitting half between 2 seats, but if you're 4-year-old, you wouldn't care about that stuff. So very impressive on that half that they managed to get 8-seaters, in the Prado 90. So overall, it's hard to sum it up so far, but you've got Prado wins price, Land Cruiser wins off-road capability, and we're going to give, even though the Prado 90 is a very good motor and it should go for a long time, we're going to give the 76 the reliability and how long it will last, but they're both absolute titans. They're both going to last a long time. In terms of doing high kilometers, you hear there's posts on Facebook groups for the 90 series, million Ks. These Prado 90s are hitting million Ks, petrol motor, diesel motor, all of them. So there's not too many 76s I've heard of that have hit a million Ks. There's probably a few, but like they're not glorified as much about it. Now, obviously, from the 90 series onwards, the Prado got slowly more and more like city life and less full drivey, because the Prado 90 series has plastic flares all around it, so when you scrape them off road, it's not even chipping your paint, it's just scratching plastic, which you can fix a clip on and off willy-nilly. So it's actually quite good in that sense. I know from experience, one fell off the other day. Whereas the 76 has just got those little flares, and as soon as you you know, hit them or anything, it's like a little grey piece of plastic. It's maybe like 70 mil, so it's not, hasn't got as much body armor or body cladding as the Prado 90. And also with the Prado, because the cladding goes below the doors, if you open a door, let's say in a car park, into like a concrete pillar or something on accident, it will hit plastic and it's not going to do almost no damage. Whereas in the 76, that's going to be your steel door smashing against concrete. Now, obviously, they both have central locking, and this one here at least is saying it's got diff lockers, which is obviously insane, so that's going to be a lot better off-road than the Prado will be. Now, the Prado 90 obviously came with other models. It came with like a 3-door version, and that was a bit of a weird model. We didn't get it here in Australia, but you see in the Facebook groups all the other guys have got them, and they're pretty much 2 seats and then a massive boot space, and the rear glass is quite big. It looks quite interesting, and they've got the halo, the lights that I've got on mine. They've got those sort of lights with the Japan spec, with the mirrors on the front bonnet, like a 3rd mirror, just so you can see down below in front of your car. Now, so obviously the Prado 70 series, which I did an Instagram story a few days ago saying should I get a Prado 70 series or a 76, 79. Now the problem is you have to import them because they're not in Australia, and importing a car is very expensive and very difficult. And not only are you buying the car theoretically sight unseen, because you're not going to, well, in most cases you're not going to fly to Japan, look at it, then fly back. You're going to just sort of buy it and let it do its thing and get over to you, which costs lots of money. It's a bit of a gamble. Now there is an Australian guy that did one recently. I follow him on Instagram, and it's cool because it's unique, it sets him apart. That's awesome, and I think it's a really good thing to do. But like at the end of the day, do I want a 6-litre diesel in a Prado 70 series that's already the very similar body shape to mine, as we've discussed, the Prado 90 series, or would I rather a V8 79 series 4.5 litre diesel manual that can have a tray, because I want to have a canopy and change not having a wagon anymore. So you can probably see why I'm in such a pickle here, because I really don't want to get a 70 series because it's very similar to what I already have. Obviously the engine's different and it's solid front axle and it drives different, but at the end of the day it's very similar to what I already have, and I don't want to buy that and put a canopy on it. That's just a waste of time and money, and I just think I'm going to save a lot of messing around if I just get the 79 with the tray in the back. That's not happening anytime soon, but I think that's the direction I want to go in. And the Land Cruiser 76 has the rear leaf springs, which obviously is not as good off-road, but you can have a lot more weight in the rear and carry that full time. And with the layout in my car, I'd almost rather have leaf springs that can carry a constant like 400 kilos for me instead of having coils. But the way mine's set out with the 100 series rear coils, it's actually holding up very well. I'm very happy with it. So what I'm going to do now, this will be the end of the video here. I'm going to have a list here and a list here, either side of me, and it's going to be Land Cruiser 76, Prado 90, and it's going to pretty much say the categories and who wins each category, sort of thing. And then at the bottom there'll be a score saying which one will win. Okay, now we've already discussed for the 3rd time that Prado 90 wins price, 76 wins reliability and like how many Ks it will do. Prado wins like interior and like how many people can sit, but the 76 wins towing and off-roading. Okay, now obviously gearboxes, you know, manual, automatic, manual, so people want that choice. But at the end of the day, you know, they've both got 5 doors, they're both from Toyota, they're very, obviously they're made almost 30 years apart from each other, but a lot of things line up, and at the end of the day, they're probably both going to be a very good car for you. And the biggest factor for me is the price, and the fact that this one's, you know, 10, 15, and then the 76 is, you know, your 70k. So that's probably just does my head in. That you can get a Prado, has almost everything the 76 can do, but you're spending like 1/8, 1/7 the cost. So I just thought I'd put that to you guys, and you know, you might have a 76 at home going, oh no, he's wrong. Put it down in the comments down below, I'd love to hear it. Or you might have a Prado and be like, yeah, that's fair, 76s are very overpriced. Even if you get a second-hand one, it's going to be at least 60k, and it's going to have at least 200,000 Ks on it, and maybe a bull barn roof rack, and they'll still want 80k for it, just because that's just how the market is. So whereas the Prado 90, you actually get one for like 10, 15k with a few mods on it, 200, 300,000 round kilometers. Okay, now this is it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't get too crazy in the comment section. If you want to build Prado sticker, $5, free shipping Australia wide. Go click my website description in the link of this video. I'll catch you guys next time on Built Prado. Woo!